Great day for football here in Kansas City during the month of November. 65 degrees, a little wind, but we are set to go. Ron Pitts and a very tired John Lynch. No, he's not tired because he's on that Stairmaster. He's in great shape. John, both teams need a win now, looking to get back on track in their divisions. And we talk about the coaches. Todd Haley, some familiarity now, of course, with Ken Wisenhunt. He served as the offensive coordinator during their Super Bowl run 2 years ago.
And they both took similar approaches to try to get out of their team's respective funks. We showed up to practice here in Kansas City to watch the Chiefs practice on Fridays. They were in pads and they were thumping. You do not see that in the NFL. You haven't seen it since the days of Chuck Noll and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The theme was back to the basics, fundamentals, technique. I like it. For Ken Wisenhunt, his approach to his team was, what we do works. Trust the system, and we just need to do it better.
The Chiefs-Cardinals series, the Chiefs lead the series 7-2-1. That dates back to 1970 when the Cardinals were right down I-70 in St. Louis. The last matchup in 2006 won by the Chiefs on a last-second field goal, 23-20. The Kansas City Chiefs won the toss, but they deferred. They want to go on defense first, John. What do you think?
Well, I think it's, that back to the basics approach. You want to put your defense out there, set the tone for the game. And that's Todd Haley's thinking. He wants Romeo Crennel's defense to come out and establish the tone for this game right away.
Breaston and Roberts back deep. Suckup will kick it away for the Chiefs. The Cardinals 1-4 on the road this season. They come in with a 3-6 record. They're trying to get back on track in their division, the NFC West, a crazy NFC West, John. And then the Kansas City Chiefs tied currently with the Raiders. The only bad news for them, they've got the loss against the Raiders, so it would actually be like a game-and-a-half advantage for Oakland. Both teams, though, want the win. Perfect weather conditions here in this November. And we're underway. This will be Breaston on a very short kick. Breaston's got a lane with a decent return out to the 31-yard line. Andy Studebaker with the early tackle. Derek Anderson, he has struggled. This will be his 7th start this season. The Boo Birds have been out in full effect in Arizona, and I think that's what my partner John Lynch has talked about, just getting back to the basics. Beanie Wells, haven't seen him in a while. He will get in. He's been bothered by a knee injury. Start at the right tackle in place of the injured Brandon Keith, who was out for the season with a hamstring. Fake the run, the quick wide receiver screen. That's Fitzgerald. Look at Fitzgerald. So the opening play, Larry Fitzgerald comes up with a big gain, a pickup of 12. And John, that's something that Todd Haley said, that number 11 can't beat us.
Well, he said he can't beat us, and that's something, unfortunately, for Todd Haley, he instilled in Larry Fitzgerald. When he first had him as a player, he said, you're a one-trick pony. You can catch the ball. I need you to become a run after the catch. Well, there it was at the highest level.
First and 10 pass. And another completion, that inside Chiefs territory. That's Breaston, good enough for 12 again. Defensively, the Chiefs will line up in a 3-4 defense. Sean Smith will get the call in place of Tyson Jackson at the end. Vrabel, Ali, the veterans outside, Belcher and Johnson inside. They'll start 2 rookies at the safety spot.
Ronnie, and they're 2 fine young rookies. This Eric Berry's as good as young safety prospect as I've seen in years. He's an exciting young player to watch.
2 passes already. They'll give to Wells. Wells going downhill. Someone loses a lid. Wells will pick up about 5. Ron Edwards loses the helmet. He's also involved in the tackle.
And so important for the Arizona Cardinals, as we see Beanie Wells going off the field already with looks like a shoulder stinger.
Oh, boy, yeah.
But this is a guy who hasn't stayed healthy in his 2 years in the league. When he is healthy, this guy is a beast. He's an elite running back in this league. They need him on the field, and they need to control the clock with Beanie Wells running the football.
Tim Hightower checks in his place, 2nd and 5. The tight end spot, Dre out of the backfield. Looking for Dre. And it was overthrown. Early pressure, though, by Tamba Hali, the first-round pick back in '06 out of Penn State.
Well, Derek Anderson, when we talked to him this weekend, said the first thing we have to do, the first priority is locate 91 Tamba Hali. He's all over the field, and Tamba Hali made his presence known early. He is a great pass rusher, Ron.
3rd and 5, and listen to the crowd. Complete to Preston. First down, Cardinals. Ball taken down to the 20-yard line. Brandon Flowers on the coverage.
We're going to see a little slant route from Steve Breston. And Derek Anderson, Larry Fitzgerald, Ken Wisenhunt, they all talked about having Steve Breston back and healthy, how much pressure that takes off this offense. If you're going to double Larry Fitzgerald, fine. We've got Steve Breston on the other side who can make you pay.
Look at Fitzgerald fired up, giving a little dap there to Anderson. 15 yards on the reception. You see the red zone numbers this season, and a false start. Looked like Fitzgerald moved early.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
Our referee, Walt Coleman, in his 15th season, will give us the early call. It's going against the Cardinals.
And Ronnie, what happened right there? They had one-on-one coverage. Larry Fitzgerald against Brandon Flowers. Larry Fitzgerald doesn't see that much. He got excited and left a little bit early. If not, they had an opportunity to go to the house.
First and 15 after the call. Inside handoff to Hightower, and Hightower hitting the backfield. No gain on the play. Glenn Dorsey.
Well, this is a unit, as we talked about in the open, went back to the basics, and that's good basic fundamental football by Glenn Dorsey. Staying low pad level, using his hands, shedding the blocker, and making the play in the opposing team's backfield.
Beanie Wells checks back in. 2nd and 15. 4 wide receivers on the field for Arizona. Another completion. That's Doucette, and Doucette inside the 20, hit hard by 2 Chiefs. A pickup of 7.
We're going to watch Mike Vrabel coming off the corner, playing in his 200th game. He's a great player in this league for a long time, has brought a ton of leadership. This is a guy who's won championships, but Derek Anderson really looking in a nice groove, establishing some rhythm here early, throwing the ball accurately, which has been his problem for a long time.
Here's where the communication part comes into play. Loud 3rd downs. Back door through the hands of Doucette. Looked as though he had a chance to catch that ball, John.
Well, I think that's a ball early Doucette needs to catch. You're a team that's lost 4 straight. You've established some rhythm. You've got to cash in upon it. You watch early Doucette working against Brandon Flowers. Good job off the line of scrimmage. Going to be a tough catch, but that's one you have to make, and I'm sure one that early Doucette expects himself to make.
Brandon Flowers on the coverage on that play. That'll bring on Jay Feely for a 36-yard attempt. It's through clean, no markers. So an early drive and early points by the Arizona Cardinals. 3-zip.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
For 51 yards. And a look at Ken Wisenhunt. Ken Wisenhunt, as Todd Haley has done, back to basics approach. He said the system works. It's been proven. We've won with it. We're not going to change it.
Yeah, and you know, when you have that credibility as a coach, you were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. You've got a whole lot more capital that you've worked up with your team. The guys can say, you know what, he's right. Let's trust it.
Ball fell off the tee. A little bit of wind here, not much, but Cardinals are going to play it safe and have the ball held. Just saw a shot of Javier Arenas back deep. And look at the unusual formation by the Cardinals on the kickoff. Now they come back to a more traditional lineup. Feely drives this one. It's bobbled. That's a loose ball, free ball. It rolls out of the end zone. They'll be spotted at the 20. And a look at Matt Castle coming up for the Chiefs. 3-0 Cardinals.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
So 1st and 10 for Matt Castle and the Chiefs. They give to Thomas Jones. That's John Lynch's old teammate in Tampa Bay. He'll pick up 3. Matt Castle, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions here at home this year. He's very solid here. Career numbers last week, John, in that embarrassing loss to the Broncos last week, 49-29. But if there was a positive, they were able to rack up a lot of yards, 484 yards of total offense. Second down and 7, the toss to Jones, no place to go. Finally finds a crease and gets a first down. It looked as though he had nothing, but he made something out of it. Rhodes pushes him out. And don't forget, you'll see Jamal Charles, who's got that 6.4 yard per carry average, also there at running back.
And Ronnie, Dwayne Bowe at the wide receiver position and really coming into his own. 8 touchdowns in the last 5 games, playing at a very high level. This offensive line is very good. A little bit nicked up at the guard position, but a very good offensive line for the Chiefs.
A pickup of 12 by Jones. Jamal Charles checks in. Play action looking deep. They check it down. That's the tight end, O'Connell. And O'Connell is just out past the 40-yard line. He'll be about 3 yards shy of the first. Joey Porter on the coverage. Defensively for Arizona, they're in a 3-4 as well. They'll get back Darnell Dockett, John, and that's going to be big. He was out last week with a bad shoulder.
And Dockett's a big part of what they do. He, along with Joey Porter, some of the great disruptive pass rushers in this league. Adrian Wilson at the safety position hasn't played up to par. He came out and told that to everybody. We'll talk about that as this game progresses.
Will Davis will start for the injured Clark Hagan. That one knocked away, intended for Jamal Charles. Our first update of the day. Let's go out to Los Angeles and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Cincinnati Bengals hosting the Buffalo Bills, trying to snap a 6-game losing streak. They're off to a good start. 13-play drive culminates in a 2-yard touchdown pass to Ocho Cinco and a 7-0 Bengal lead. Back to Ron and John.
Bengals in last place there in the division, the AFC North at 2-7, trying to keep pace with the Browns. Steelers and Ravens tied up at 6-3. Ron picks John Lynch here. This is a 3rd and 4. Castle holding, incomplete, intended for Bowe. Bowe covered tightly by Michael Adams. Getting the start there for Toller. And he was complaining about a flag. He won't get it. That'll bring on the punt team.
No, Ronnie, and this is an offense that's been pretty darn good, pretty explosive. 10th in points per game, 12th in points per game, but third down, particularly the 3rd and shorts, is where they've struggled, and that is contrary to their being the #1 rush team in the league.
Dustin Colquitt punts it away to Andre Roberts. A great kick, and at the last second, Roberts made what ended up being a pretty good decision. He gets out of the way of it. It rolls into the end zone for a touchback.
Today's game is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By The Tourist, starring Angelina Jolie and Johnny Depp. In theaters December 10th, rated PG-13. And by Burger King. Have it your way.
Well, we see Derek Anderson here, and the bar has been set very high in Arizona at the quarterback position. Our now colleague at Fox, Kurt Warner, having retired this offseason, a lot of pressure on Derek Anderson. But in the midst of a 4-game losing streak, what's been lost is Derek Anderson's been playing better football. The last 3 games throwing at 56%, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. That first drive was representative of that. Good drive for the Cardinals to start the game.
First and 10, give to Hightower. Hightower with a crease. Hightower across the 35-yard line, pushed out by Kendrick Lewis. A pickup of 16 in that quarterback quandary, so to speak. Anderson started off this season. He was injured. Max Hall came in, gets his first win against the New Orleans Saints. Everybody singing his praise during the bye week, John. Then he goes up to Seattle and gets crushed. And they've been kind of back and forth ever since in the quarterback spot.
And hey, it's tough. You know, I played in Denver. And 10 years later, people still talking about John Elway. It's a tough position to follow a legend at that position.
First and 10 throw. There's a hit, but a reception. Doucette going up high. Flowers punched him in the back, but Doucette holds on for a 6-yard gain.
And watch Brandon Flowers right here come up and press coverage, cover 2, and then going to turn, kind of play a trap route.
John,
comes up on early Doucette and gets that rib shot.
Those are the ones you pray for as a corner. And you said it, it's the old trap corner. They think you're going to roll with that receiver, but you turn around and get the hit, but a good catch by Doucette. 2nd and 4. Hightower straight ahead for a couple inside. The Cardinals last week embarrassed at home against the Seattle Seahawks, 36-18. They didn't convert a first down on offense until the 10-minute mark of the 4th quarter.
And you talk about converting first downs. The first drive, they did a nice job of that, moving the chains on 3rd down. When we talked to Ken Wisenhunt, he said it was critical. This is the 30th. There's only 2 worse in the NFL converting on 3rd down. They did a nice job early. We'll see on this 3rd and 2.
Hightower hitting the backfield. Based on that spot, I don't think he got it. You see our first down line, and that is not the official line, but it's darn close. Tamba Hali is there, and it's 4th down.
I want you to watch Tamba Hali. This is a team who practiced 3 days in pads, and that's the benefit of practicing in pads. You know how to get behind them. Outstanding play by Tamba Hali, taking over on his own.
Did you see what he did to Jim Trey?
I saw it.
Boy, that just brings back shades of the late Derek Thomas there to change a game, change a series with one play. So the Cardinals changed their mind. They will punt it away. Ben Graham comes on to kick for Arizona. Just got it off the backwards L wedge shot. He'll try to kill that one inside the 10, and he's going to do it. Maybe even better. Oh, and the Cardinals fall asleep. That was Tremaine McBride who had a chance to down it, but he fell asleep and rolls into the end zone for a touchback.
Well, you see Kevin Spencer getting after Tremaine McBride, and well, he should. Kevin Spencer, the special teams coach, field position is key, and Tremaine McBride needs to get himself on the other side of the ball, in between the ball and the goal line. These yards are precious, particularly in a game like this where you've got a running football team. To pin them back would have been huge.
So instead of 1st and 10 on the 1-yard line, 1st and 10 on the 20 for Castle and the Chiefs. Straight ahead, Thomas Jones with a gash. Thomas Jones with a huge run, 28 yards. Will Davis finally brings him down.
And this is a good sign, because I want you to watch this offensive line. Look at the push there. They're controlling the line of scrimmage. At Denver last week, they frankly got beat to the punch. They got out physical, and this is what they needed to do. Come out and establish what they've done all year. We're going to control the line of scrimmage. Good sign for the Kansas City Chiefs, and a pretty picture for Thomas Jones back there.
You see the big plays already today for both teams. 1st and 10, back to Jones. Stopped in the backfield, maybe picked up one. Let's go to Los Angeles. Kurt Menefee has an update for us. Kurt.
Well, the Cowboys' first possession against the Lions, 13 plays, 98 yards, ending in a 1-yard touchdown reception by Des Bryant, and they lead the Lions 7-0 in the first quarter. Ron and John?
Boy, the Dallas Cowboys with a little bit of a resurgence here, huh? Jason Garrett takes over as head coach. All of a sudden, things are looking up in Big D early against Detroit. 2nd and 9, blitz, the safety. They brought Wilson and he ran right into it. And John, you said that's what they need to do with Wilson.
Exactly what they need to do. You know, I think you look at the key departures. One of them that has been not talked about enough, Antrell Roll going over to the New York Giants. You watch Adrian Wilson. He's always been at his best up near the line of scrimmage. They bring Kerry Rhodes in, and they say, you know what, let's interchange these guys. A guy like Adrian Wilson does his best work up towards the line of scrimmage, being aggressive. Let him do it. Good job by Bill Davis, the defensive coordinator, playing to Adrian Wilson's strengths.
That's a loss of 3 as you look at Bill Davis, 3rd and 12. There's Wilson up again. They bring him again. Quick throw. It's complete. That's Terrence Copper. But Copper is hit hard and quickly by Michael Adams. That thwarts the first down attempt, and that will bring on the punt team for the Chiefs.
A really nice start for the Arizona Cardinals, Ron. This is a team, you and I watch them, they've played from behind this entire season. Ken Wisenhunt said it was critical to come out and start fast for the mojo of his team, to keep the crowd at Arrowhead out of it. Good job by the Arizona Cardinals off the bat.
Suckup standing at his 35-yard line will kick it away to Roberts. He'll try to kill this one as well. Immediate fair catch called at the 8-yard line by Roberts. 41 yards on the punt. And the Cardinals will take over. We are 3-0, 2:35 here in the first quarter. John, the Cardinals backed up. This is where we refer back to our sound discussion we had before the game. You can see how loud it can get in decibels and what it compares to here at Arrowhead. Wells with a cutback, and he's got positive yards. And let's talk about some of the things that bother your ears at Jet Aircraft at 140 decibels. Chainsaw at 110. The nightclub.
The nightclub.
Haven't been there in a while.
We're at the Arrowhead nightclub. This nightclub gets loud here at Arrowhead.
This is live. Let's see how loud they get that decibel meter. Peaked out at about 99 in movement. Chiefs pointing toward Arizona.
False start, number 1, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, there you go, John Lynch. Jim Dre, he was hearing what we were saying about the loud, about the noise.
The equivalent of nightclub decibels make people jump off false starts. But as I said, I mean, we joke about it, but this is an educated, they know football here in Kansas City. They know when to be loud. Arizona backed up, 2nd and long. Listen to him.
To give to Wells. Wells looking to get to the corner. It's not there. So the crowd noise helping the Chiefs here on this end of the field, and a little bit of a scuffle. Eric Berry made the tackle, but Hightower involved in a little extracurricular, and we've got the marker down. Now, we talked about the familiarity the two coaches have. Same philosophies, same beliefs, believe in building a team the same way in their practice habits.
To the play, first down, 63, offense. Half the distance to the goal, 3rd down.
That's Lyle Sinline, the center.
And that will only get the crowd into it more. I think when you look at these, one on a 4-game losing streak, the Arizona Cardinals, the Chiefs on a 2-game losing streak, you've got players that are ornery. The Chiefs have been in pads for the last 3 days, but you can't let it get personal and hurt your team.
Good point. Throwing out of his end zone, a long floater, and it's incomplete. Intended for Preston, but Brandon Carr got a hand on it, and that'll bring up 4th down.
A really nice job by Brandon Carr, knowing where the chains are, knowing it's going to be a longer throw, giving him room, but then breaking on the football, undercutting it, and getting a hand on it, getting off the field on third down. Nice work by Brandon Carr.
The secondary has been picked on, ranked 22 in the NFL, but making a nice play there. Ben Graham punting away to Arenas. Gets it out. Arenas will have room. There goes Arenas. Arenas with a nice return inside the Arizona 40. Well, Fox tonight, Brian writes a controversial bestseller, but when sudden fame goes to his head, his big shot behavior could land him in the doghouse on live TV with Bill Maher. Family Guy, viewer discretion advised tonight on Fox. 49 yards on the punt, 17 yards on the return by Arenas. Arenas, John, turning out to be one of those all-purpose guys.
He is, and Ron, this is a place, they call it the alumni zone in the college. This is where you might take a shot. Momentum starting to shift.
1st and 10, they bring the safety blitz. Time, throw, caught. That's Bo. Bo down to the 1. 37 big ones as the quarter winds down.
Very nice job by Charlie Weiss, sensing just that. You're in the middle of the field. Your defense just got a big stop. Pounce on that momentum, throw the ball downfield to a guy that's real hot at the wide receiver position.
And that will be the end of the first quarter, a loud first quarter. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Well, Ronnie, typically when you get blown out 49-29, there's not a whole lot of positives you can take. But one of the positives, look at these numbers at Dwayne Bowe. 13 catches for 186. He established a rhythm last week with Matt Castle. It's going to serve them well as they move forward.
Ryan O'Callahan checks in as the extra offensive lineman. Jones looking for the end zone. He'll be denied. If there's one positive from this Arizona defense down in the red zone, John, they are solid second in touchdown percentage. Calais Campbell in on the stop.
Well, Ronnie, that's about the only thing the Arizona Cardinals have been doing well on defense is the red zone D. Number 2 in the league. It hasn't been good other than that, but we'll see if they can stand up to this Chiefs offense with big Sean Smith, the defensive end, in the backfield.
And Vrabel, the tight end on the left side. They'll put it on the ground. It's Jackie Battle. He's denied. So Arizona's defense with a 36% touchdown percentage down here, tightening up again.
Well, you could be 325, but if you throw a no-hitter, it doesn't do any good. Sean Smith goes in there and whiffs. And Adrian Wilson up at the line of scrimmage. I had a good idea, Ron. We talked about this, that Adrian would come back and play well. He hasn't been pleased with his play. Great players respond, and I expect him to do that today.
The Chiefs changed personnel completely. They went from a big package to a 3 wide out package. 3rd and goal. Castle doesn't like what he sees. They'll burn a timeout. Chiefs trying to punch one in, up 3-zip.
Today's game is sponsored by the Miller Lite aluminum pint. 4 more ounces of that great Pilsner taste. By Citizen Echo Drive. Fueled by light, it never needs a battery. Unstoppable. And by the Ford F-150 and its 4 new engines. This is the future of truck.
A true football crowd here in Kansas City. They know when to be loud. And if you've noticed, John, down here with the offensive threatening to score, they've been very quiet. Throwing it in. Bo has it. Touchdown, Chiefs.
Ronnie, now this crowd knows when to be loud, and Dwayne Bowe continues his just assault on this league. 9 touchdowns in 6 games. That's a Chiefs record. Has not been done in the history of this league, or excuse me, in the history of the Kansas City Chiefs. Dwayne Bowe playing at an extraordinary level right now.
With 6 consecutive touchdowns. That sets a franchise record. As the extra point is good, a guy that they've been waiting to come around for quite a while here in Kansas City. He's come around the last 2 weeks. 7-3 Chiefs. Bowe with a touchdown catch in 6 straight games. He beat Rogers Cromartie on the play inside. I tell you, watch this guy in practice, John. He is big, physical, and can snatch the ball out of the air.
Matt Castle said about him, that's his best asset, is strength and speed. He's a big man that can catch the football.
Suckup kicks it away. Preston with the nice deep kick will have to sit on it. About 7 yards deep in the end zone.
And you watch this, Ronnie, you mentioned Charlie Weiss going to the 3 wide receiver set. It doesn't work with the heavy personnel. Go to the 3 wides and watch Brandon Alpert. You're going to throw a quick ball. You better get the hands down. No better way than to cut. Joey Porter coming off the corner, and then Matt Castle, who really has been really underappreciated league-wide. This is the #1 run offense in the league, but Matt Castle's had an outstanding season thus far. Another great throw by Matt Castle.
So 1st and 10 for Derek Anderson and the Cardinals. Looking to throw. That one up for grabs. Maybe in the area intended for the tight end Jim Dre. But there were 3 Chiefs closer to the ball than Dre was. And John, on Friday practice, we saw the Chiefs get into it a little bit. Head coach Todd Haley had to stop the drill and raise his voice because he didn't like the way the attitude in the practice was going.
Yeah, you know, and their players, as I mentioned earlier, they're hot, they're ornery. They've been in pads 3 days in a row. You don't do that during the regular season. Todd Haley's trying to send a message to his players. We've got to get back to basics, what we do well.
2nd and 10. The give to Wells, and Wells has been getting stopped up. Had a little love early, but nothing lately. Let's go to Los Angeles and an update. Kurt Menefee.
Well, TB and Howie have a bet on the Raiders-Steelers game, and right now, Mr. Bradshaw is ahead thanks to Rashard Mendenhall's 5-yard score. It's 7-3 in the 2nd quarter. Steelers in control, Bradshaw says. Ron and John?
Chiefs fans keeping an eye on that one. Of course, the Chiefs and Raiders tied. Raiders have an edge, though, because they beat the Chiefs 2 weeks ago. And there's a look at Romeo Crennel, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, long-time New England Patriot coordinator. And a timeout on this 3rd and 9 called by Arizona. The noise picking up once again here in the new Arrowhead.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Windows 7.
3rd down coming up. Quick throw out to the safety valve. That's Hightower. Hightower hit hard a yard before the 1st down marker. Talking about wax on, wax off. Looked like Eric Berry came over there and just applied the wood, the pressure by Tamba Ali. A pickup of 8, but not enough for the 1st. They'll punt it away.
Well, you want to watch what has Kansas City Chiefs and me and everyone who watches football and can appreciate it. Excited about Eric Berry at the safety position. It's that right here. This is a physical young man. He's the fastest guy on the field. Big-time play by Eric Berry, who's a big-time player.
The 5th pick overall in this year's draft out of Tennessee. That ball by Graham, not a great kick. Rolls backward. Will land dead at about the 31-yard line. 39 yards on the punt. The rookie showing why they drafted him.
Well, there's Eric Berry, the outstanding young rookie for the Kansas City Chiefs at the safety position. And I asked, Ronnie, when we sat with Eric Berry, I asked him, this guy's a student of the game. I asked, what's been the toughest transition to the NFL from the University of Tennessee? He mentioned the quarterbacks first, but he said, you know, more than anything else, it's the tight ends. Look at these tight ends that he's played against, starting with Gates, ending with Miller, Dallas Clark in between. That's and that's just symbolic of what's going on in this league. Great tight end play throughout the league, and Eric Berry's experiencing that.
Javier Arenas checks in at the wide receiver spot. He's at the bottom of your screen. The lead play to Thomas Jones. He picks up a couple. And John, you got to give some credit to Matt Castle. I mean, last year people wanted to criticize the season. Was it a good season? Was it a bad season? They say it was mediocre. Todd Haley said the kid survived a lot of drama. He didn't crack. And for 4 years he was Tom Brady's understudy up there in New England. And he said he learned a lot about how to play the game and, more importantly, how to communicate with his players. 2nd down and 6. Jones, no, excuse me, that's Charles. Charles was in trouble from the start, tried to get outside, but we got a marker as well.
Offside, number 55, defense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Joey Porter with the call.
And you talk about Matt Castle, nice job by him putting a hard count on Joey Porter. But forget about last year. This year, let's look at the numbers. 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Playing at an extraordinarily high level. Last week, he lit it up down in Denver in a losing cause. Showed his teammates that, yes, we're the #1 rush team in the league, but we can also do some damage throwing the football.
Play action, 2nd down and 1, wide open. That's the tight end, O'Connell. Oh, and a little extracurricular, and that's an obvious flag. Gerald Hayes saying he grabbed my face mask. Hayes, who spent the first 6 weeks on the physically unable to perform list, getting popped for the infraction.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 54, defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
You watch the end of this play, Gerald, I've been with you, man. They don't call that on offense, though. They call it on defense, not on offense. And again, you can't let things get personal on the field because you hurt your team. You think back to the last drive, they got a 15-yard penalty. It pinned them back on offense. Now on defense, the penalty's hurting the Arizona Cardinals.
Reception there by O'Connell, the 2nd-year man out of Miami of Ohio. Play action, looking deep, checks it down, another completion. Charles, dangerous, down to about the 1-yard line. Ball is loose, but I believe he's down by contact, and yes, they mark it at the 1. Brought down by Adams. And Charles, John, is one of those guys that is so explosive. The new breed of smaller running back. And let's make sure this isn't a fumble. Yeah.
Down by contact. The ground can't cause the fumble.
That's right. Sean Smith along with Vrabel checking in as they always do on the goal line package. Vrabel splitting out Sean Smith at the fullback. Going to Vrabel for the alley-oop. Incomplete. Rhodes on the coverage, and Vrabel has caught a couple of those, including in the Super Bowl with the New England Patriots.
Yeah, how about 10 of them in his career? He's very good. It's not a gimmick. He's very good at the tight end position. Very nice job by Kerry Rhodes, though, playing Mike Vrabel's hands and ripping at the arm and getting the ball out of there.
This will be the Chiefs' 5th attempt today, already from the 1-yard line. John, good thing they practiced that short yardage goal line this week. 2nd and goal. Jones up and over Marcus Allen style, and it's a touchdown for the Chiefs. Jones with his 4th touchdown on the season. The former Arizona Cardinal. Picked 7th overall back in 2000, spent 3 seasons there. He puts the Chiefs up 13-3. 4 plays, 68 yards on the drive. And Suckup will try to add one more. It's down, it's good. He does. And the Chiefs up comfortably 14-3. And you see Jones, I think he's trying to calm down Sean. Sean got a little heated in practice. Those big guys get in there and like the pound inside. Ron Pitts, John Lynch here in the second quarter. And we talked about Todd Haley enforcing the red zone and a goal line short yardage mentality with this team this week.
Well, we talked about them being in pads on a Friday, and he said the only reason for that, not so much the back to basics theme, but Friday was for short yardage and goal line. He said we should be the best short yardage goal line team in the league. We aren't. In fact, we're the worst, and we've got to improve upon that. Well, the work paid off. And, you know, this Kansas City Chiefs, after a slow start, now have taken over this game. And for the Arizona Cardinals, unfortunately, this has been their pattern all year, playing from behind. And when you play from behind, you put your quarterback and your offensive line in tough positions.
And we talk about Todd Haley and his familiarity with the Arizona Cardinals. Former offensive coordinator there, the relationship with Ken Wisenhunt that goes all the way back to their young days as assistants with the New York Jets, sharing an office, fighting in lunchtime pickup basketball games. So 10-14 here to play in the first half. And a onside kick attempt, or did the ball just fall off the tee?
The ball fell off the tee prior to the kicker getting to the ball. We will re-kick.
Yeah, Walt, that's what they all say. I think that was planned. Fall right now. And see, now the Chiefs are saying, wait a minute, that was a pretty well orchestrated onside kick.
Let's try it again. But I tell you, I was down there on the field beforehand, before the game, and up here it doesn't look too windy. It's a swirling wind down there, very windy, and it plays tricks on these kickers.
By rule, that ball has to be on the tee of some sort when it's kicked off. Ricky Price will come in and hold on the play. Preston and Roberts back deep. That ball 2 yards deep. Preston with a nice avoid, but hit hard going backward and will fall down around the 11-yard line. Next week, it's a big one here on Fox, a Thanksgiving Day special. The New Orleans Saints, the defending Super Bowl champs, taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas Thursday afternoon, right after your turkey, or at about the same time as your turkey, whenever you eat. Beginning with the pregame show at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. That's always a good one.
Oh, it's the best. A little turkey, a lot of turkey, and then on the couch, kids all over you watching football. Doesn't get any better than that.
That's right. You'll be at the Lynch household next week. We'll be in town in Denver for that game. 14-3, 10:07. First down, Arizona. Hightower picking his way. A nice run on first down. He'll be about 2-3 yards shy of the first. He'll pick up 7 officially.
If you're Arizona right now, we talked about the pattern of falling behind in games, and they've turned the ball over a tremendous amount this year because they've played in these situations. I think right there is exactly what they need to do. Ken Wisenhunt is the play caller. Stay with your game plan. Run the football. Don't turn this into a 50-throw game. Stay with your game plan. Get points on the board. Make it a one-score game.
Second down and 3. Hightower again trying to bounce it. He does bounce it. Bounces it enough to get the first down. So Hightower showing some explosion, picking up 10.
And that's it, exactly. Right here, you've got the Chiefs crowd into the game. We've talked about that. How do you get them out of the game? You control the clock, and you control the clock by controlling the line of scrimmage. Very nice job by the Arizona Cardinals offensive line of controlling the line of scrimmage and letting Tim Hightower have some successful runs.
Came into the game as the leading rusher with only yard per carry average, keeping that man on the sidelines. That was Beanie Wells. 1st and 10. Plenty of time. Wide open and dropped. Won't see that very often. Larry Fitzgerald. John, Larry Fitzgerald told us a couple things that I'd never heard before regarding Todd Haley. We knew about the story. He said he called him a one-trick pony in Arizona, but I didn't know about the combine story.
No, he told us at the combine, Todd Haley then with the Dallas Cowboys called him in and said, hey, all I think you are is a slot receiver who can get 60 catches, and that's about it. And Larry Fitzgerald thinking he's going to be this high draft choice, and he said it inspired him. He worked with him, and he's very, very, very quick to credit Todd Haley with the player he's become.
2nd and 10, pump and go. Going to Fitzgerald, and they make it fit. Great throw and a great catch. Fitzgerald working on Brandon Flowers.
And Todd Haley's wishing right now I didn't push him so hard, because this is the player that this guy is. You get him on one-on-one situations, he's going to beat you. He sells the little in route, back shoulder fade, and that body presence of Larry Fitzgerald. He won't drop 2 in a row. Good job by Derek Anderson going right back to him.
24 yards, and Larry has had that nagging knee injury. It's bothered him since training camp. Missed a lot of time. Everybody worried about the timing between Anderson and himself. Comes up with a nice reception there. 1st and 10, looking cutback is Hightower, and he gets blasted. A marker goes down, but a nice hit on the play there.
Number 66, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
That's Alan Faneca, the left guard. Gets called for the hold.
And you talk about self-inflicted wounds that Ken Wisenhunt discussed with us in terms of what's hurting the Arizona Cardinals. Where there it is. We've seen 6 penalties now for 46 yards. You get a little rhythm going as an offense, and a great player like Alan Faneca, can even happen to him. You hurt your team with these penalties.
Faneca in his 200th career game for the 9 straight Pro Bowler. 1st and 20. A long throw and a great catch. I don't think he held on. That ball is loose. That's Kendrick Lewis. It's blown dead, and Doucette is hurt. Doucette went up high for the catch, took a shot, and you knew immediately he was in trouble.
We have a completed catch and down by contact.
They are calling it a catch, but we'll check on Doucette. He is still down. The good news is that early Doucette is up, walking off the field under his own power. As you can see on the left, he took the hit there from Brandon Carr. It was ruled a catch. It is being reviewed during the break. Todd Haley threw out the challenge flag. And John, my question to you would be, the ball has to be caught past the ground. He has to go through the process. I'm not sure he did that.
It doesn't appear. He has control there, but the ball comes loose. And you know, we've got Mike Pereira out in Los Angeles, and we'll go to Mike right now. Mike, what are your thoughts?
You know, hey, I'll tell you, Pitsy, this is incomplete all the way. This is the kind of one that you got to get right on the field. There's just no question of this. You have to hold on to the ball after you hit the ground. This ball comes out immediately. This is like a needless 3-minute delay that you hate to have in replay, because it is clearly incomplete. When you see that ball rolling out of there as soon as he hits the ground, it's over.
The play, the pass is incomplete. The receiver must maintain possession coming to the ground. He lost the ball. It'll be 2nd and 20, the 45-yard line. Please, the clock, 7:32, please. Kansas City will not be charged. Out.
Our official expert, Mike Pereira. Mike, thank you very much for your help as always. And Mike with the NFL, head of officiating with the NFL for many years, right on the call. John, the process wasn't completed, and boy, we started out the season with this type of drama. Calvin Johnson in Chicago, he did not complete the catch.
And you know, that's a tough one for a lot of people at home. I know when I'm talking to people at home, Say, what do you have to do to make it a catch? Well, right now, those are the rules. You have to control it through the process, and he didn't right there. The good news is early Doucette is healthy and backing up and on the Cardinals bench.
So they'll move it back, reset it, 2nd and 20. Arizona still throwing, plenty of time, looking deep for Preston, and he overthrew him. Boy, Preston may have had a step on Carr, and that ball just out of reach.
You watch Steve Breston on the left side working a little post route. Fakes out to the corner, goes to the post, and he does indeed have a step on Brandon Carr. And that's a ball, as Derek Anderson, you've got to give your receiver a chance to make a play.
From the 45-yard line, it's 3rd down.
Andre Roberts checking in place of Doucette. So it'll be Fitzgerald, Roberts, and Breston as your wide receivers. 3rd and 20. Another high one. And you know, Doucette went up to get the high one. That's one reason he took the shot. And last week, John, we saw Larry Fitzgerald go up and take a high one. You know, receivers after a while are going to come back to the huddle and get in the quarterback's face and say, you better get that ball down.
Yeah, and that's something Derek Anderson addressed with us. They've really been working on his fundamentals. I talked to Chris Miller, the quarterback coach. He said it all starts with his feet. When his feet get too close together, the high balls start to come. That's what they've been trying to eliminate. Early on, it looked good. Of late, it hasn't.
So the Cardinals will punt it away. Ben Graham will put that one into the end zone. Arenas just kind of looked at it, and it sailed over his head for a touchback. And Kansas City, the first 7 games of the season, they had a 5-2 record, outscoring opponents by a big number, and they were pounding the ball on the ground with Jamal Charles. But a funny thing happened as the season went on. 0-2 record the last 2 games, outscored by opponents now 72-49, and look at the difference in rush yards.
And Todd Haley, we've talked about it. They went back to the basics. They put the pads on. He said it was the captains who came to him. They had a physical training camp in pads, 35 of the 39 practices. The captains felt like they had to get back to that mentality, and they've done a nice job of carrying that mentality on the field here today.
They give to Charles. He's looking for the cutback. He's got the speed, and he almost broke it. Maybe a touchdown-saving tackle by Calais Campbell, a pickup of 11. And John, I brought this point up earlier. The smaller running back seems to be back in vogue in the NFL.
Yeah, and let's watch this smaller running back, but it all starts up front. And the right tackle, Barry Richardson, with a great block. You get that little alley, and you give Jamal Charles an alley, he's going to bust through it. This guy is an explosive player who gives you that appearance that he can bust it on any play.
A 6-yard per carry average coming into today's game. 1st and 10. They'll switch it up. They'll give it to Jones. Jones stacked up just beyond the line of scrimmage. A marker is down, and they got a hold going against the Chiefs.
Holding, number 65. Offense, 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
That's Ryan Lilja, the right guard. And John, going back to my point, guys like Arian Foster leading the NFL in rushing, and Chris Johnson with Tennessee. These guys are smaller backs. I'm talking 5'10", 5'11", maybe 200, more like 190, 195, but they can all fly, and they all make big plays.
Well, it comes down to speed, and these guys aren't just fast, they're powerful as well. But when you have that kind of presence on the field, it opens up your entire offense.
First penalty on Kansas City, that last play. Charles, not much there. Will Davis subbing in for the injured Clark Hagan, who's battling a bad groin, makes a tackle.
You talk about all those guys, Chris Johnson, Adrian Peterson, the great backs. Well, no one in the last 12 weeks, since week 14 of last season, it's Jamal Charles with 1,418 yards, who's above, look at these names, above Chris Johnson, Frank Gore, Adrian Peterson, Arian Foster, since week 14 of 2009. That's a good chunk of change. Jamal Charles playing better than anybody at the running back position.
2nd and long. Wide open in the flat. They forgot about Bo. And Bo, you see the strength with a nasty stiff arm there on Rashad Johnson. 15 yards.
This is what Matt Castle's been so impressive. Yes, you want to get the ball downfield, but get it to your athletes and let them work in space. And watch Dwayne Bowe finish this run with a little oomph.
Oh,
get off of me.
Boy, that's ugly. That's the one that you don't want to go to films on Monday if you're Johnson, because you know you're going to see it and the boys are going to talk about it. 3rd and 3. Pressure by Wilson. The clean throw right on the money. And Matt Castle is throwing strikes. Bo again on Rogers Cromartie. And a flag in the backfield.
Number 54. Offense, 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Wiping out big plays. That's Brian Waters, a left guard. Wipes out a 16-yard gain and a first.
You know, we talked to Todd Haley, withstanding the hold. I want you to watch Matt Castle's feet right here. Feet underneath him, steps up in the pocket. Good base underneath him, delivers an accurate football. Todd Haley said this is something they've worked on constantly. He studied Drew Brees, who does it better than anybody in the business. And Todd Haley will tell you, when his feet are right, talks about getting back fast and deep. When his feet are right, his accuracy goes up tenfold. Great job by Matt Castle with the fundamentals of football at the quarterback position.
Empty backfield. It better come out quick. 3rd and 13. It does. Charles will be about 4 yards shy of the first. Hit by Porter. And that'll bring up 4th down.
9 yards on the play. Dustin Colquitt in punt formation. Andre Roberts back deep for Arizona.
So the Chiefs will punt it away. Dustin Colquitt, who comes from NFL lineage, so to speak, his father, Craig Colquitt, punted for the Steelers back in their Super Bowl heyday. Won 2 Super Bowls. And Colquitt gets off a screamer. Wow. That ball's going into the end zone. Where does it land? No, it landed on the 1. No, they're saying, one official saying it went into the end zone. It did go into the end zone. 64 yards on the punt. Well, Fox tomorrow, it's an all-new episode of House. A dying man chooses faith over medicine. But will his faith cure him or will his faith kill him? An all-new House. Viewer discretion is advised tomorrow at 8, 7 Central right here on Fox. Hugh Lurie is outstanding in those episodes of House. He can fix anything, even a bad offense in your short yardage game. He'd come in with that stick.
Bring him in. They might need him in Arizona.
Can you see Lurie coming in with that stick? Well, your problem is obvious. You've got no idea what you're doing. .337 here to play in the first half. 14-3 Chiefs. Fake the handoff, the high throw intended for Roberts. And it's incomplete.
Listen, I circled Larry Fitzgerald there because I'm a proponent. Stick with your game plan, run the football as you look at Derek Anderson's numbers. But there again, you had Larry Fitzgerald on Brandon Carr one-on-one. When they present that, you don't get it much. When you get that one-on-one with Larry Fitzgerald, you better take advantage of it because you are not going to get that many times throughout the course of a game.
Fitzgerald down at the bottom of your screen. Looks like a cover 2 situation. 2 deep safeties for the Chiefs. They'll hand it off to Wells. Wells lowering his shoulder and pounding through for the first down. He ran right through Derek Johnson, the former first-round pick, picked up 11 yards. That was a strong run.
And this right here is why it's so important to watch him finish this run, running through people. And that's the kind of runner this guy is when healthy. You talk about a great pro in Larry Fitzgerald. You don't just catch the ball, you block for your guy.
That's right.
Larry Fitzgerald does that as well as anybody at his position as well.
The Cardinals need Beanie Wells to stay healthy and start producing. First-round pick last year out of Ohio State. They'll give it to him again. And another nice run. He'll pick up 5.
And we talk about those one-on-one situations. When do you get those one-on-one situations? You start pounding Beanie Wells and having success running the football. Romeo Crennel's going to say, I got to get Eric Berry in the box, and that provides a one-on-one outside. So this formula works, and you got to pound Beanie, but when you get that one-on-one with Larry Fitzgerald, take advantage of it and pounce on it.
Nice shot there of Crennel giving the signs to his defense. 2nd and 5. Sprint out. Ooh, that ball nearly intercepted, but secured by Fitzgerald for a first down. And that will be the 2-minute warning here in Kansas City. Cardinals marching 14-3, Kansas City. $375 million in stadium renovation spent here in Arrowhead, and it's all about improving the fan experience. Not that it needed improving in the first place, John, but let me tell you, the noise, the excitement, the energy is just incredible here at Arrowhead. Under the 2-minute warning, 1st and 10, 2 timeouts for each team. Pressure, sack, Demario Williams. That's his first sack of the year.
You're going play action, you're trying to get the ball downfield, but you got to have that clock in your head that says get rid of the football. If your guys aren't there, Larry Fitzgerald locked down right here by Brandon Carr. If your guys aren't open, Steve Breston covered by Arenas, throw the ball out of bounds, but you can't take the sack.
A loss of 2. Waiting for the end to clear. It clears late. And it's a completion. That's Andre Roberts, the 3rd-round pick out of Citadel. And he'll move the ball inside Chief territory. Looks to be just shy of the first down. That's 11 yards. Don't forget, the Visa Halftime Report is coming your way with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. They'll have all the scores and highlights from around the league. And the Fox Sports ticker will give you all the updated stuff across both the AFC and the NFC. And can the boys make it 2 in a row? Yeah, you know it. Nothing like a change of, I don't know, scenery or even head coach, huh?
Yeah. Well, you know what the guys are going to say in the studio about smacking the pack for the Vikings. I think the Vikings are down 17-3 right now.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, if you are the Arizona Cardinals right now, you've got to get points on the board. You've got 1:10 on the clock, a 3rd down. You got to convert this first down, but then get yourself at least get a field goal on the board.
Timeout there called by Arizona. They have 1 left. Ron hits John Lynch. 1:10 to go here in the first half in Kansas City. 3rd and 1 throw through the hands of Preston. He loses his shirt a little bit there. But now, John, is this 4-down territory? What do you think? The ball's on the other side of the 50.
You know, Ken Wisenhunt is doing what the percentages say to do, but you're a team who's lost 4 straight. You better get a win to get yourself back in this thing. I might go for it right here. Try to get some momentum going into halftime.
But they're going to punt it away. So ball spotted at the Chiefs' 47-yard line. Arizona's last 5 possessions, 5 punts. Arenas is back deep. Graham angling a little bit. Arenas lets this sail. That's going to die perfectly at the 1-yard line. Nice job by Ben Graham. Well, next weekend on FSN, it's a college football Saturday Big 12 doubleheader. First, Blaine Gabbert and the Missouri will battle Kansas. Then, in the nightcap, Houston takes on Texas Tech. College football Saturday next week on FSN. Boy, and John Lynch, your Stanford guys are cranking away as we look at the offensive leaders for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Matt Castle continues to play very efficient football, not turning the ball over. Thomas Jones been big. They went back to the basics. They're pounding the ball, and Dwayne Bowe, who really has accelerated his game here in recent times, is having another highly productive game for the Kansas City Chiefs.
They'll have to be efficient. Backed up here, 57 seconds left. Castle out of his end zone. A dangerous throw over the head of Adrian Wilson, intended for former Cardinal Leonard Pope. Castle feeling pretty good about his 136.6 quarterback rating out of 158.3, huh?
You know, and you have Charlie Weiss as an offensive coordinator here. Todd Haley brought him in. Charlie Weiss is calling the plays. You think about the New England Patriots. How many times do you see them do the unconventional? You're backed up. Most teams try to run it, get a yard. The Patriots are throwing it. Charlie Weiss bringing that same aggressive mentality to Kansas City.
Movement, and that's Pope.
You know what, though? That's smart by Matt Castle. They always tell you, and as a defensive player, you know you're probably going to get the hard count. If you're Matt Castle, you get a false start there. What do? They back it up 2 inches, half the distance. So not a bad job by Charlie Weiss's quarterback, Matt Castle.
The give inside, and just barely getting out is Tim Castile, another former Cardinal. He almost got caught for safety. And a final timeout called by Arizona. They've got a chance to get the ball back.
Good job of playing downhill by Paris Lennon. And
he lost the ball there, John. And,
yeah, he did.
You know, we're under 2 minutes now. Any review would have to come from the booth. Didn't look like Watson had regained possession of it, but as we look at Todd Haley there, one thing to keep in mind now in this part of the field, if Kansas City were to have a penalty in the end zone, that would result in a safety. So that just makes it all the more dicey down here for the offense. And you saw Arizona just call timeout. They've got a chance to get the ball back here.
Yeah, and if you're Kansas City, that's your sole objective. Just get the ball out of here, punt the football.
And John, I've just been told now that play is being reviewed. It is a booth review. Where was the ball when it was knocked out?
Did it indeed cross the end zone line, or is it a safety? Let's take a look at that. See Tim Castile take the football. It's hard. We're kind of shielded right here.
Looks like he didn't lose it until he hit the ground. He was contacted. I can't tell. He came up with it, but here's another.
Now, to me, it looks like it's not an issue of whether it's a fumble or not. It's where the ball was, because the ground causes the fumble. So I think he'd be down by contact, but was he in the end zone when that ball?
It's a question as to whether or not it was a safety.
Absolutely.
That's the key. Ken Wisenhunt there.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands.
And I guess the ruling on the field is that the ball just got out of the end zone at the inch line. And it's not a safety, but the clock is stopped. And here's another look at it.
You know, it was really close, but remember, it has to be conclusive evidence to overturn that call, and you really can't see it. His body has shielded the ball, and it's tough to see, and I think Walt Coleman's looking at the same thing we were looking at.
3rd and 10. They'll go to the ground again, and Charles ends up at about the same spot that Castile ended up. They're going to have to punt this ball away.
This is tremendous execution by the Arizona Cardinals. First on special teams, you pin them back, and then you play downhill football and you keep them pinned back. Very nice job by Ken Wisenhunt's crew. Now you're out of timeout, so you can't stop the clock. But the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have to punt this football, and so what you do, you bring an all-out block. If you're the special team coach, Kevin Spencer, you bring everybody and try to block this football.
And you see there that shot now. Colquitt cannot step on the end line. If he does, it's a safety.
Half the distance, still 4th down.
I think Walt Coleman has run out of half the distances.
Half the distance.
He's got no more distance
We're
left.
going to have to ask this educated crowd what half the distance is down here. It's a matter of inches, though.
So now, John, they switch it up. They take their punt team off.
And I think this is wise by Todd Haley. He's
2
thinking
seconds. Yeah.
all the mechanics that can go wrong with the punt of the football. Your punter can't have his normal distance. I bet what he does here is have Matt Castle sneak the football, go to halftime, 14-3, Kansas City Chiefs.
Or just throw it up. That would be risky. He can throw it up and waste the time that way. Time is out. Ball right there
by Todd Haley, Charlie Weiss, Matt Castle.
And that's the end of the first half. The Cardinals down to the Chiefs 14-3. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime report coming your way after a word from your local Fox station. Ron Pitts, John Lynch back here in Kansas City. We are ready to start the second half. Don't forget to follow your favorite NFL team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. And John, we talk about this first half. We were trying to cut it up during the break, and you look at Arizona, the problems really third down, not able to convert on third down.
Yeah, third down, not able to convert. Ken Wisenhunt said that would be huge, and that's something they've struggled with throughout the whole year, and penalties. Every time they get a good drive going, and they are running the football fairly well, they hurt themselves with the penalty. They've got to eliminate that, and this is still a good ball game. We've got a 14-3 game. Now, if you're Kansas City and you want to put them away, you're doing a good job in that back-to-the-basics approach, but you've got to convert on third down as well. Chiefs only at one out of 5 on third down themselves.
Javier Arenas back deep to receive the Feely kick. Feely pounding that ball 5 yards deep. Arenas says no thank you. They'll get it on the 20. And a quick look at the first half numbers, and that's exactly what my partner John Lynch was talking about. 1 for 7 on third down is Arizona.
That and the penalties are what's killing them, and you can't put Derek Anderson in a situation where he's got to go back and throw so much, because it puts the offensive line in a tough situation. It puts him. So this defense got to come up big here, set the tone for this second half, and put some juice and life back into this Arizona Cardinals team.
Arizona got on the board first. A nice drive, opening game drive, went down the field, got a 36-yard field goal by Feely. Since then, it's been 2 touchdowns by Kansas City. Arizona has not been able to answer. The 1st and 10 give, that's Charles. Charles will try that right side.
We've talked about how well Matt Castle has played, very underappreciated, but throwing the football down the field to his best receiver, Dwayne Bowe, letting Dwayne Bowe know he appreciates his efforts. Jake O'Connell, Jamar Charles, a lot of weapons out there for Matt Castle, and the best thing he does for these guys right now, he doesn't turn the ball over. They've got only 7 turnovers as an offense all year, the lowest amount in the NFL, and that will serve them well.
A look at Castle's numbers. Pickup of 5, 2nd and 5. Give to Charles again. He got stopped on that one, no gain on the play. Castle, originally a 7th-round pick by the Patriots in 05. He was franchised. They put the franchise tag on him, meaning that he had to get paid an average of the top 5 players at his position. But then they turned around and traded him here to Kansas City last year. A big $63 million contract. There was a familiarity with now in place at that time general manager Scott Pioli. We talked about the struggles last year, but he's been solid this year from a statistical standpoint. There's a throw outside, a catch and a run and a first down. Ball is loose, but he is down by contact. Jamal Charles.
And big-time quarterbacks, they perform well on third down. They move the chains, and a great job by Matt Castle right here of getting the ball in his athlete's hands. He gets the ball to Jamal Charles and lets him go get the first down. As Matt Castle's a guy who's had to wait his turn behind Carson Palmer at USC, behind Tom Brady at the Patriots, but a great story in perseverance and continuing to get better yourself, and now he's gotten his opportunity, and he's really flourishing with that chance.
Quick throw, Chambers hit down by the knees by Michael Adams. He'll pick up a couple.
You know, one of the things, I had the opportunity to go back to the New England Patriots at the end of my career for about 3 weeks, and I watched that place function, and Tom Brady's such a great leader there. Matt Castle said he just soaked as much information. He learned from Tommy. He asked him questions about everything. Why do you do that? Why do you do this? And the best lesson he said is you better be on top of your stuff. You can't always be the guy going out with the guys because you're held to a higher standard.
2nd down and 6. Charles moving the pile. He's going to be a little bit short. Speaking of quarterbacks, they've got a couple in this one. Update on Green Bay, Minnesota. Let's go out to Los Angeles and Kurt Menefee.
It's unraveling for the Vikings here. Aaron Rodgers hooks up for the 2nd time today with Greg Jennings. A couple of moves later, he's got a 46-yard touchdown. This Jennings is 24-3. Early in the 2nd half, Green Bay all over the Vikings, and we've already seen a couple of arguments on the Vikings sideline, including one with Brett Favre. Ron?
Oh, yeah, that'll happen. Packers trying to keep pace with the Bears. Bears with a win Thursday night. They're leading that division 7-3. And a shot to Bo. Bo across midfield. And another Chiefs first down. Kerry Rhodes with the tackle.
I like this, and this is a sign of a well-coached team. You're struggling on 3rd down. You go in at halftime, you make the adjustments. And for the Kansas City Chiefs, it's been quick throws. Get the ball in your best players' hands. Dwayne Bowe, Jamal Charles, and let them do the work. Matt Castle doing a great job of executing the offense that Charlie Weiss is dialing up.
14 yards on the reception. Jones in trouble. Maybe got one. Gerald Hayes is there. Castle told us an interesting story about Tom Brady and how he knew when to yell at guys, how to yell at guys, where to yell at guys. Some guys he would cuss out right there on the field. Other guys he would wait until he got into the locker room. And we saw a little of that this past weekend with Tom Brady on the sideline with his offensive line. That's, I think, is a part of just knowing how to be a veteran and when to do it. 2nd and 9. Charles with a breakout. Jamal Charles. He's got speed down to the 3-yard line. Key block by Terrence Copper on Rogers Cromartie. A pickup of 39 yards.
And Ronnie, you really start to see the whole picture for this Kansas City Chiefs offense, how good they can be. You give the ball to Jamal Charles enough times, good things are going to happen. He's an explosive player. Good blocking up front. And you couple that with some nice passing by Matt Castle. The sky's the limit. Again, you go back to the loss at Denver last week. The confidence they gained in the passing game, you match that up with that kind of rush attack, you're looking real good moving forward as an offense.
Only 5 touches in the first half for Charles. He's got 5 on this drive. And there's a touchdown by Jones. Thomas Jones with his 2nd touchdown today. He's got 5 on the year. Extra point is good. Charles set it up. And Thomas Jones knocked it through. Jones showing why he's got 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons punching it in, 21-3 Chiefs.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Visa. More people go with Visa. By Autotrader.com. Now compare new and used cars side by side at Autotrader.com. And by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Chiefs trying to keep pace with the Oakland Raiders. Both of them are tied for first in the AFC West. And right now the Steelers all over the Oakland Raiders, 21-3. So if you're a Chiefs fan, that's all good news. That's Steve Breaston back deep to receive the suck-up kick. Windy conditions. We've had the ball held almost all day long. That one out of the end zone for a touchback. Thomas Jones showing a little power. Charles did the work, and Jones will take the 6. And we're back here in Kansas City. Quick look at those standings I was talking about. You see the two teams tied, but a little deceptive. Oakland's beaten Kansas City, so Kansas City trying to get that half game back. 1st and 10, cutback. It's there for Hightower. Nice run on first down, Tim Hightower. That's a pickup of 16 yards.
And Ronnie, a lot of people at home might be thinking, what are you doing? You're down 21-3 in the third quarter, continuing to run the football. But this is a team that's given up a league high 33 sacks. Excuse me, the second most in the league to the Chicago Bears, the #1. And you've got to continue to run the football. Try to get some positive things going for your offense.
Not much there coming up. Kendrick Lewis held it to a pickup of 1 along with Derek Johnson. And you see the yards per rush there by both teams. Boy, for Arizona, you wonder how you're losing the game by that margin.
That's 3rd down. You do well on 1st and 2nd down. You give yourself some penalties. You got to convert on 3rd down, move the chains.
This is a 2nd and 9. Plenty of time. Going deep. He's got Breaston, and it's long. And I can hear the voices back in Phoenix and all over Arizona saying, this is what we're talking about with the quarterback.
Yeah, but I got news for you folks in Arizona. Kurt Warner's in the broadcast booth. He's not throwing passes anymore. And might he have made that throw? Probably. But Derek Anderson, you know, he's got to fight through this. This is what they have right now. And he brings something to the table. He's got a strong arm. They got to continue to work with him. It's hard to replace a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he's never going to measure up, but he's just got to continue to fight and grind this thing out.
They convert, and it's a big one. They miss Breaston on the big one, but they catch him on the 3rd down, and it's a 1st down for Arizona. He beat Javier Arenas, 27 yards.
That's exactly what I'm talking about with Derek Anderson. You miss a big throw down the field, go right back to the guy you just missed, and Steve Breaston. Trust him, earn his trust back in you. Good job by Steve Breaston with the yards after the catch. Steve Breaston's another guy that Todd Haley, as the receiver coach of the Cardinals a couple of years ago, he said, you're nothing but a special teams guy. Unless you start working harder, you're always going to be just a special teams guy. And now Breaston's turned into quite a receiver.
They'll go back to the ground game in Hightower. And going back to Anderson after a pickup of 4. Originally a 6th-round pick for Baltimore in 05, waived, then signed by Cleveland. That's where he hit his stride, really went from nothing to something. Then in 2008 there, the drama started after Anderson went to a Pro Bowl. They bring in Brady Quinn, and then there was the talk of getting Quinn involved, and the staph infection ran through the facility. It just seemed like one issue after another, and before you knew it, Anderson's days were numbered in Cleveland. 2nd down and 6. Throwing late, another completion. That's Breston again. So Breston becoming the go-to guy here in the second half for Arizona, working on Brandon Flowers.
And that's the good that Derek Anderson brings to the table. He's a guy with a strong arm, and he needs to cut it loose. They've worked a lot on fundamentals, but you work on fundamentals during the week. I've always believed, and on game day, you let it go. And you let whatever you've done during the week transfer over. Right now, I'd look for Larry Fitzgerald. You're moving the football, but you got to cash in, and Larry Fitzgerald's a guy who's made a career out of doing just that.
They'll go to the ground instead. That's Hightower. Sean Smith there on the tackle. John, you may have touched on Anderson. He didn't have an entire offseason with Anderson, and he felt like his fundamentals, his footwork, just the basics, weren't as good as they should be.
Yeah, and an offseason is so important with a new quarterback picking up a new system. Remember, Matt Leinart was here. They were splitting reps, trying to figure out who their guy was, and he would have liked to have had an entire offseason, as would have Derek Anderson.
Given the starting job, preseason game number 3 over Matt Leinart. Back to the ground, Hightower. Boy, the sledding's getting tougher inside. Glenn Dorsey holds it to a gain of 2. You may look down at that defensive line for Kansas City and say there's a lot of beef there, but one thing Todd Haley said he did when he first came in is get the weight off these guys. He felt they were a little heavy.
Let's go back to this real quick, Ronnie. Again, I tell you, there's not many times when you have that one-on-one situation. I'm all for running your offense, running the football.
Right.
You get that one-on-one, pounce on it, take advantage of it.
A timeout called by Arizona. Another big third down coming up.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
A chance for the Cardinals here. The Chiefs struggle in this area. Ranked 30th in the NFL in red zone defense. That would be touchdown percentage they give up. Almost 70% touchdown when opposing offenses come down here. Going for the one-on-one, knocked away. Brandon Flowers. Intended for Breston.
And Derek Anderson went exactly where he should have. They had a double on Larry Fitzgerald, so you got to trust your other receiver. This is just a nice play by Brandon Flowers, who's had a really good year for the Kansas City Chiefs at cornerback thus far.
That unit coached by Emmett Thomas, the Hall of Famer, the great Kansas City Chiefs defensive back. And he dials him in that time. This is 29 yards out for Feely. Should be a chip shot. Well, you know what they say about those chip shots, but that one is no flags down. It counts. Nice long drive. Cardinals come away with points, 21-6.
You want to see the life of a big-time receiver in the NFL? Todd Haley's got a lot of respect for Larry Fitzgerald. Not one, but two. And they're all over him. This looks like punt return for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not going to let Larry Fitzgerald touch the ball down in the red zone.
Another good kick. We've seen him all day. Arenas, about 8 yards deep, sits on it. 21-6 as a little extracurricular breaks out here in Kansas City. 4:55 here in the third quarter, and the Chiefs looking to go 5-0 here at home. That would be the best home record since 03 when they started out 0-8. They'll pass. Middle screen. Charles rounded up quickly. Paris Lennon's all over it.
Well, Ronnie, that didn't work because Paris Lennon made a great play. But getting to the ball to your best players is always a good plan. And Charlie Weiss did just that on the last drive. Dwayne Bowe then Jamal Charles, and then finish it off with Thomas Jones, old reliable. Great job by Charlie Weiss, Matt Castle, and this Kansas City offense of putting the ball in your athletes' hands and letting them do what they do best.
Thomas Jones will check in. 2nd and 16. Loss of 6. Batted back. He was going deep to Bo, but it was knocked away. Let's go to Los Angeles for an update. Kurt Menefee.
The Cowboys scored 2 touchdowns in just over 2.5 minutes to take a 21-12 lead, but back come the Lions. Calvin Johnson on the 14-yard reception from Sean Hill. It's now a 2-point game late in the 3rd quarter. 21-19, those Lions keep on scrapping. Ron and John.
Kurt, he's not letting go of that ball. He's going to control that through the process of the catch. Calvin Johnson has learned his lesson.
Third and 16. Plenty of time. Has to check it down. Then it's late, intended for Chambers. But John, a little bit of a lackadaisical series there by Kansas City.
Yeah, and that's one thing to become a great team. Todd Haley will tell you, we're not a good team yet. And he says people around here get upset with him when he says that. And he says we're trying to become a good team. And part of becoming a good team is putting people away when you've got them down. But, you know, right there I can't fault Matt Castle. 3rd and 16. One thing this team has done great is protect the football, as has Matt Castle. And sometimes the best throw is no throw. Throw it out of bounds, punt the football, and trust your defense.
The first 3 and out today by the Chiefs. This is Roberts at the 40. Makes a move, makes another move. Tied up at about the 47-yard line. The best teams from around Europe battle in the UEFA Champions League. And you can find it on Fox Soccer this week. The Scottish champs, Rangers FC, take on Mexican sensation Chicharito and Manchester United. Live in HD, only on Fox Soccer. That's your hero there. Chicharito.
Chicharito.
Yeah. Here's some heroes for the Arizona Cardinals, so to speak. Derek Anderson, 11 for 23, 152. Fitzgerald has been relatively quiet. I think Preston has been the new go-to guy here today. Wells trying to bounce it outside. Wow. Almost got around the corner. A marker goes down. Wells showing a little of that.
Number 89. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Showing a little of that spring that he had back in the day.
Ronnie, Todd Haley, he knows what it is to be a winner, and that's what they're trying to build here. Scott Pioli, the general manager, came from New England. He hired Todd Haley. Todd Haley, a member of the staff of this Arizona Cardinals, the offensive coordinator, as they went to the Super Bowl, has had great mentors. Bill Parcells, Ken Wisenhunt. This guy's ready to be a head coach, and he's showing that here today.
44-year-old Haley, 2nd year as head coach. Comes into today's game with a record of 9-16, facing his old team for the first time. A hot one across the middle, and Preston, we said he was the go-to guy, and he went up and got it, and he came down right on his head. He beat Flowers.
You watch him, Steve Breston, working on Brandon Flowers. Not much separation here. Good ball by Derek Anderson, but he keeps putting his receivers up there.
Boy, he stretches them out.
They're going to be happy with them. Early Doucette out of this game on a high ball earlier. Not much separation. Those are the windows that you deal with in the NFL.
So Breston off on the sideline. They are attending him. Wells churning it down inside the Chiefs' 40-yard line, close to the 35. Wells has that look like he's about to break it.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a positive thus far in this game for the Cardinals, it's that Beanie Wells is out there and looking like he finally is healthy. Again, I can't say strongly enough. I think this guy is an elite running back in the league, provided he can stay healthy. A good mix with Tim Hightower, and a good sign the way Beanie Wells is running the football today.
Hightower gives him a break. They bring up the safety blitz. They run right down the middle of the field, and boy, there's some head-on, face-to-face, John Lynch-style collisions going on down there. And if you've ever questioned Hightower's toughness, don't question it anymore. A pickup of 2. He went head-on there, looked like with Derek Johnson.
Yeah, it was Javon Belcher.
And Belcher,
and he just put it on him, but good contact by both sides, and that's that decision you got to make. Am I going to go for this, or am I going to turn it down? Neither one turned it down right there. That's football at its finest.
3rd and 2. Roll out, Fitzgerald, but the ball is misplaced. There's an example of an easy conversion, but is there a marker down? No.
And that's a ball, you know, Larry Fitzgerald has separation. That's a ball you've got to put on your receiver accurately, and you move the chains. You've got to be able to make that throw in the National Football League. And Ken Wisenhunt says, we're going to keep you out there. We're going to go for it here.
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinal players were saying go for it. That's what looked like a flag sign. 3rd and 9. Excuse me, 4th down. Now there's a flag. Was there a timeout called?
Kansas City called timeout prior to the ball being snapped. That's their first team timeout.
Okay, so Kansas City called timeout right before the snap. But Ken Wisenhunt is saying they waited too late.
There's a flag on the play.
He's saying they waited too late. He also doesn't like Tamba Hali getting a free shot on his quarterback.
That's right. That's
after
right.
the whistle was blown. And Derek Anderson threw the football in disgust. They may flag Derek Anderson for throwing the football. Watch, the play's blown dead. Now watch at the end of this. Now we've talked about the crowd. I can say in defense of Tamba Hali, you can't hear that sometimes.
And a marker did go down late in the backfield.
After timeout, like conduct, number 3. Find the ball. Mistake. Penalty. Still 4th down.
So they throw it against Anderson, like you said, the unsportsmanlike conduct for throwing the ball.
And he was upset because he felt like unnecessary shot was taken against him. And he's going to chuck the football. You watch Derek Anderson come out of this after the hit from Tamba Hali. And boom, he throws that football.
There it goes.
And that's something the league put an emphasis on a couple years ago. They felt too many players were spiking the ball. Ken Wisenhunt saying, my guy touched, you got a dead ball, the whistle's blown, and you're going to take a free shot at my quarterback, and you call a penalty on us for throwing the football. He's got every right to be upset as well.
Boy, and Walt is arguing with 2 old pros there now. You saw Russ Grimm come over. Russ is the offensive line / running game coordinator, and Anderson's hot too. So after the penalty, Arizona will change things up. Obviously, they'll bring the punt team on. They'll kick it away.
There's a flag on the play.
I saw somebody for Arizona move.
False start, number 50. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
That's O'Brien Schofield. Let's see if we can listen here.
And I think, again, in defense of Tamba Hali, I can understand why both sides might have a case, but Ken Wisenhunt has every right to be upset. But Tamba Hali didn't viciously go after Derek Anderson.
No, he didn't. 3 penalties for 30 yards on this drive alone. A high kick. Arenas will take the shot at the 10-yard line. McBride hustling down. Well, next weekend on the Big Ten Network, it's rivalry week as Purdue and Indiana battle for the Old Oaken Bucket in West Lafayette. That's next weekend only on the Big Ten Network. Check local listings for start times in your area?
Oak and bucket.
Yep, Oak and bucket, yeah.
First and 10, Chiefs from the Kansas City
1 minute,
10-yard line.
4 seconds left in the third quarter. Chiefs up 21-6, but their last series was a little sloppy. It was a 3 and out. And they didn't look like they had the spark. Jones almost lost the ball, but the support is there for Arizona. That's Michael Adams.
Hey, Ronnie, you were a punt returner in the National Football League for a while. You remember this at all?
Oh, yeah, he got off easy.
That's tough work back there.
That is. First, you got to catch the ball.
Not for the faint of heart.
And that's a good decision there by Arenas, because the big problem, you let that ball roll around down near the goal line and cost your offense yards. Winding down here in the third quarter, 2nd and 8. That's Jones. Jones hit quickly. Joey Porter is there. John, a name we haven't called very often today, Darnell Dockett.
He's been quiet, and I think an emphasis from Todd Haley and the Kansas City Chiefs offense was we've got to take Darnell Dockett out of the game, and they've done a nice job thus far of doing just that.
And that's the end of the third quarter, 21-6. Chiefs holding on. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Former pro football player Maurice Carthon and assistant head coach on these Kansas City Chiefs taking a little water and trying to cool out. They had a little dust up down on the Kansas City Chiefs. Fellas, things are going good. You aren't supposed to be fighting.
Bill Muir, they got into it down there.
They did.
Hey, man, this is the
That's
NFL.
what 2 losses
Things
will
happen.
do to you, you know?
3rd and 5 as we start the fourth quarter here in Kansas City. Going deep. Almost hauled in. Varan Tucker had it. It was bobbled. A.J. Jefferson along with Rashad Johnson had the tight coverage. That'll bring up 4th down.
And Varan Tucker up top is a guy that Matt Castle said he can run a little. And when a quarterback says that, means he can get it. Varan Tucker's a speed threat that they really like here, and he's really been pushing Chris Chambers for playing time. They're trying to get him more involved in the offense opposite of Dwayne Bowe.
So, John, the second 3 and out in a row now for Kansas City. Colquitt will punt it away. This will be Roberts at the 31. He's got some room. A marker is down, and down goes Roberts at the 36. 54 yards on the punt, 5 yards on the return. Let's check the flag.
During the return, illegal block in the back, 22. Return team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's going against Matt Ware. Cardinals ball when we come back.
Game is sponsored by GMC Sierra. It's the GMC holiday event. Get the job done right this season with a GMC Sierra. By Sprint, the Now Network. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
(21-6) here at Arrowhead. The Arizona Cardinals with only field goals. That's the only way they've been able to score thus far. Kansas City, 2 touchdowns by Thomas Jones and 1 by Dwayne Bowe. Put us at 21-6. The last 2 series by Kansas City have looked shoddy at best. 3 and outs. It feels as though Arizona has a little momentum. Seam throw, Preston. Did he catch it? No. It hit the ground. He comes up with it, but he says no. Kendrick Lewis and Flowers on the double coverage.
That's a good throw by Derek Anderson, putting the ball up, letting Breston go make a play, and a good call by the officials. It looks like they're right on that one. That ball's loose and hits the ground. He doesn't have control. If his hand's underneath, it's a different deal. but his hand's not underneath the ball. Good call by the officials.
Boy, and Preston has had a nice day. He's been the go-to guy. 5 catches, 92 yards. And he's come down on his head for a couple of them. And you see Ken Wisenhunt put that flag back in his pocket. Had thoughts of maybe challenging. Nothing there for Beanie Wells. Let's go to Los Angeles for an update. Kurt Menefee.
Down 31-14 at half. The Buffalo Bills have charged all the way back. Ryan Fitzpatrick for the second time today to Steve Johnson, 11-yard score. And Buffalo now leads in the fourth quarter, 35-31, 21 unanswered points by the Bills. Ron and John?
The Bills starting the day 1-8, last in the division. I'm sure Cincinnati thought they had easy pickings, but someone forgot to tell them that they're only 2-7.
And that's an improving football team in Buffalo. We covered them last week. Ryan Fitzpatrick, their quarterback, can sling that football.
3rd and 10. That ball looked like it was maybe tipped coming out, but another high one intended for Andre Roberts. And that'll bring on another punt. The Arizona Cardinals, with St. Louis losing to San Francisco in overtime last week. They're in 3rd place in the division, but oddly enough, John, only 1 win away from being tied for 2nd in the division. A crazy NFC West. So if they can just hang on and accumulate a win here and there, they've got a shot in that division. Graham, a wobbler, tough ball to catch. Somehow Arenas catches it, but he's stacked up, and progress will stop at about the 36-yard line. 45 yards on the punt, bad win, 7 yards on the return. We've just started the fourth quarter. Ron Pitts, John Lynch here in Kansas City. Chiefs up 21-6. The quick hitter to Bo. Bo tripped up, falls just past the 40-yard line at the 42. He picks up 4. Now we talk about the standings in the NFC West, John, in that crazy division. And first-year head coach Pete Carroll out there in Seattle, boy, he's sitting there with a 2-game lead. A 1-game lead in front of St. Louis, but a 2-game lead in front of Arizona. They've doubled up the Arizona Cardinals.
You look at those standings, Pete Rozell's looking down upon that, smiling. That's parity at its greatest right there.
Something former Commissioner Pete Rozell has always wanted in the NFL is Charles gets something he's always wanted, room around the outside.
You know, Ronnie, that's really emblematic of what's going on across the league. Now, not anybody in this league has more than a 1-game lead in any conference throughout football right now in any division. And it's just, it is parity at its highest. It's important here, Ron. You know, this Chiefs offense came out of the gates in the first half with a nice drive, but since then it's been kind of stymied. It's important they really come out. As you see Brandon Alpert down on the field, but come out and really establish something.
We'll check on Brandon Albert when we come back. 21-6 Chiefs.
Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty.
Brandon Albert walked off under his own power. Ryan O'Callahan, 5th-year man out of Cal, will sub in. He'll go to the right tackle. Barry Richardson will flop over to the left. This is Charles. Charles still going. Jamal Charles close to another Chiefs first down. Rogers Cromartie on the tackle.
And that's really good running. Ron, you talked about the smaller backs, but they're small but yet powerful. You watch Jamal Charles. Contact's going to take place 3 yards down the field. He keeps his legs churning. He goes and gets 4 more yards. That's good running. Look at the vision. Look at the burst. Look at the power. That's a complete player in Jamal Charles.
Highest rush average since he entered the NFL back in 2008 of 5.8. per rush. Last season, he went over 1,000 yards rushing in only 10 starts. They'll switch it up with their 1-2 punch. That's Thomas Jones. Jones fumbles the ball. Was he down? I don't think so.
He wasn't. I think Adrian Wilson got that ball out of there, unless they're calling it.
Riders rule down by contact. First down.
They're saying down by contact.
Let's watch Adrian Wilson. I don't know. That ball might be coming loose.
Yeah, it looked like he had it here. Yeah, it looks like he's on the ground, and then it comes out.
The only thing
But
I'm
John,
questioning is Adrian
about.
Wilson. That ball's moving just a little bit. Does he have control? If the ball's moving, I'd throw the. No.
Well, it doesn't matter now. No challenge flag. And that's Jones again. We talked to Jones the other day. This long in the NFL now, 11-year veteran. He's bounced around quite a bit. As we said earlier, played on your Super Bowl team. So how do you keep yourself healthy at this point?
And I'll tell you why. And when he was my teammate, it's one of the hardest workers in the NFL, and there's no replacement for hard work in terms of longevity. Thomas Jones done it at a high level for a long time. We see Jamal Charles and Thomas Jones. People in this league would love to have one of them, and the Chiefs have the luxury of having both. And look at these numbers: 165 yards per game, first in the NFL. 4.8 yards per rush, fourth in the NFL. 2 rushers. Jamal Charles well over 500, and Thomas Jones well over 500 after today. 149 total yards. You got to give them a lot of credit. You also have to give this offensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs a lot of credit, as you see Will Davis go off the field in the cart.
Will Davis, a second-year man out of Illinois, in his 3rd start this year, subbing for the injured Clark Haggans, being carted off. Boy, we'd never like to see that at all. That's unfortunate. And the second part of that makes Arizona's defensive linebacking core there a little thinner. They were already thin coming in. 2nd down and 6. The hot one inside. That's complete to Baran Tucker. We saw Tucker's speed early on. He's the rookie free agent out of Cal. Now we see him move the chains for a 1st down, a pickup of 13.
We mentioned earlier Todd Haley and his work on the fundamentals of the quarterback position. Watch that drop. He gets back quick. He gets back deep. Sets his feet, and he fires a strike. Matt Castle really developing as a quarterback. They studied Drew Brees, and that's starting to look like Drew Brees. And when you start talking about that as an analyst, you're giving him high praise, but he really deserves it because he's playing extraordinary football.
And he's got a lot better arm than I think people want to give him credit for. 1st and 10 draw to Charles. Charles lowering his shoulder, loses his helmet, gets down to the 6-yard line.
Todd Haley told us about his study in Drew Brees and then presenting it to Matt Castle. 4 yards every time on a shotgun drop, and then he drops back quickly with good depth. Feet are always underneath him. Chris Miller, the Arizona quarterback coach, was talking about that earlier today. Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, the guys that do best on a consistent basis have great footwork, and that's what they're trying to instill in Matt Castle, and he's starting to grasp that concept, and it's paying off with great results.
See the Chiefs today in the red zone. Thomas has been strong down here. He'll get the carry, tripped up. He'll pick up 1. And the key thing, going back to that drop back story, John, is that in every quarterback he studied, like you said, the one consistent was that they got back and set up fast.
Yeah, and I had the opportunity in college at my last year at Stanford. I wasn't a quarterback then, but to play for the great and late Bill Walsh, arguably the greatest coach of all time, and that's constantly what he did with his quarterbacks. It was all about the drop. He didn't care about the throw, about your feet. I heard him say that numerous times, and these guys are carrying on that tradition.
3rd and 4. Going to Tucker over the shoulder, and it's just out of reach. McBride on the coverage, and I don't know if you saw it, John, when Tucker went out there, no one had covered him, and he was clapping his hands trying to get the hot one to him, but they couldn't get it in time.
And I think you go back and look on film, the coaches, you're always striving for more. Richie Anderson, the former running back, He's going to tell him, Varane, we like your speed, but you got to be able to catch the ball, son. This is a good ball by Matt Castle. You got to cash in on opportunities like that.
You got to catch that ball. So Kansas City will settle for the field goal attempt, 23 yards out by Suckup. It's through clean, no flags, and the Chiefs continue to pour it on here in Kansas City, 24-6. Well, Fox tonight, we'll talk animation domination. That's the theme. The Sunday destination is packed with all new episodes of The Simpsons, The Cleveland Show, Family Guy, and American Dad. The most animated night on television starts at 7, 6 Central tonight here on Fox. Ron Pitts, John Lynch, it really came down to Arizona and the third down attempts. We talked about that at halftime, and you have to talk about it again.
Yeah, and just not playing good football. I talked to Russ Grimm, the Hall of Fame player and great offensive line coach for the Arizona Cardinals, and he's talked to his guys, to this team. He says, you play in this league long enough, you're going to go through slumps like this. Are you going to fight your way out of it, or are we going to give up? And they're in that fight right now. They've lost a lot of great players. They lost their Hall of Fame quarterback in Kurt Warner. You got to reinvent yourself. They've got good leadership with Ken Wisenhunt, but you got to stick with the plan, and you got to play hard at the end of games like this. We'll see if the Arizona Cardinals can get that done.
Talk about some of those losses. Kurt Warner is the most obvious, but then it's guys on defense like Dansby, Bertrand Berry, who retired, Chike O'Keefer. If for nothing more, that affects your chemistry, and that's something that Adrian Wilson told us the other day. Yes, that is a part of it. This is Roberts. Roberts looking for a big return, won't get it. He'll get it out just past the 20-yard line.
Tackled by Terrence Copper. 21-yard return.
I think all too often, John, people think of only the big name guys, but remember, this defense, they had a lot of veterans around for a long time. Guys like the ones we just mentioned there. And I mentioned Chike O'Keefe, that guys that had been around, and they were used to defenses. They were used to certain teams. They knew how to play the game, and that was all starting to come together, and you saw that in that Super Bowl year.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's an oversimplification when you just say it's the loss of Kurt Warner. Yes, it is, and a Hall of Fame quarterback masks a lot of deficiencies, but you've lost significant amount of players, and you got to replace them.
Middle screen, and they can't throw it and catch it. Just simple stuff like that that kills you trying to throw the middle screen to Hightower.
It's covered by Javier Arenas.
You know, guys that are so accustomed to having great efficiency at the quarterback position, the Larry Fitzgeralds, have done a great job of staying positive and continuing to work. Sooner or later, though, you know, this league, when things aren't going well, people get frustrated. And what they've all got to do is just keep pressing on and work their way out of this thing.
Second and 10 throw, it's complete to Roberts. Roberts with a first down as he's hit out of bounds. Nice looking play. Eric Berry put it on him, but he picks up the first, a pickup of 13 yards.
Again, Andre Roberts in the lineup because Early Doucette went out injured earlier in the game. Andre Roberts, a young rookie out of the Citadel, coming in and making some contributions in recent weeks.
Roberts once again, and Roberts with another nice pickup. A marker is down in the backfield. That's usually in the area of holding.
Holding, number 5, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
So the Cardinals will go back after the hold.
I think it's Levi Brown. Walt Coleman's microphone's been in and out all day. It's been tough to hear him, but that was Levi Brown, the left tackle, who got called for the hold. And again, you get in these situations where you're playing behind 3 scores, you're going to get holding penalties, you're going to get sacks, and you can't keep putting your team in these kind of positions where you're playing catch-up.
That resets it at 1st and 20. Pressure just got it away. That's Ben Patrick. That's the first catch for him today. Strong pressure on the outside there by Demario Williams. And the Cardinals go into a hurry-up offense. Quick injury report. Brandon Flowers, hamstring. His return is questionable. Ricky Price, first-year man out of Oklahoma State, number 35, checks in his place at corner. Boy, this is turning into the Andre Roberts show.
But you know, I think a great thing for folks who are fans of the Arizona Cardinals, look at Matt Castle. Last year, people weren't too thrilled with him here. And he's really come on. He's been there a season. He develops. He's part of the system for another year, and he becomes a highly efficient quarterback. Derek Anderson has ability. He's been to the Pro Bowl. Is he Kurt Warner? No, but can he be a positive quarterback for your franchise? I think so.
The 3rd and 4 throw, and they actually lose on it. Depending on where they mark it, it's complete to Patrick, but Ricky Price, who's subbing in for Flowers, is all over it.
Ken Wisenhunt, rightly so, doesn't even hesitate, keeping his offense on 4th and 1 on the field.
And it's incomplete. Intended for Roberts. Arenas is all over him. And that will be a turnover on downs with 5:39 here to play.
Good coverage by Arenas, and good for Derek Anderson, giving it to his young receiver a little bit. You can't put that one on Derek Anderson. He threw a strike to Andre Roberts. Good coverage or not, you got to be able to come down with that football on a 4th down situation.
So the Chiefs will try to make this thing academic here with 5:39, and if they are the running team that the numbers show they are, which is number 1 in the NFL, then they'll put this ball on the ground and try to chew some clock. They'll go in a 2 tight end set, and that's exactly what they do. That's Charles.
That last play is symbolic of kind of the afternoon that Derek Anderson's had. Frustration, getting hit early and often. You put hits on a quarterback, any quarterback, their accuracy starts to get affected. And now you start to see the accuracy. He's got Preston behind the coverage and can't hit him. He's got Larry Fitzgerald on a 3rd down in the flat, can't accurately hit him. You hit a quarterback, any quarterback, particularly one who struggled with accuracy in his career, you're going to make it tough on him, and Derek Anderson has struggled today.
A pickup of 3, 2nd down 7. Charles again, the ball is loose. Arizona saying they've got the football, and they do have it. And you can see Haley reaching into his pocket. He's probably looking for that red hanky. Gerald Hayes came up with the football.
Let's look here at Jamal Charles.
You see he got bent there, right there. That ball was a knee down, though. The right knee.
Yeah, right knee.
That's the question.
We have a fumble. 1st down, Arizona.
And I think Todd Haley's doing the right thing, because I think that right knee is down of Jamal Charles.
And Kansas City, we're challenging the referee on the field.
The challenge flag has been thrown. We are in challenge mode. So we are in challenge mode here. Todd Haley has thrown the challenge flag. We're discussing whether or not Charles' knee was down before the ball came out.
From this angle, I really believe you look. Let's look at that right knee. Jamal Charles right there. See that knee down, ball still in. Now the decision is that ball starting to come out? That's what Walt Coleman has to figure. Remember, they called it a fumble and a fumble recovery on the field, so conclusive evidence to overturn. To me, Jamal Charles' knee is down. He's still controlling the football, but.
And John, that's the first turnover today, if you can believe that. Number 2, Kansas City is one of the better teams in the NFL at protecting the football, coming in with a +5 turnover ratio.
Well, the best as an offense. They don't turn the ball over. Only 7 turnovers on the entire season. Number 1 in the NFL. Only 3 fumbles lost. So these running backs.
Yeah.
Matt Castle, Thomas Jones, Jamal Charles, they all protect the football real well.
Right now, let's bring in our official expert from in Los Angeles, Mike Pereira, former head of NFL officiating. Mike, give us your take on this.
Hey, I'm going with Lynchy, man. I'm thinking that knee is down.
I see you, Mike.
The ball's not been ripped out, so I'm giving my love to Lynch, and if I'm wrong, I'm blaming it on Lynch.
No more airtime for you if you're wrong, Mike.
After reviewing the play, the runner's right knee was down prior to the ball coming loose. We can't see third down at the 38. Kansas City will not be charged a timeout, and they get an extra.
Hey, Mike, I feel you, man.
Hey, it's you and I all the way, baby.
All right, I
it's you
like
and
it.
I'm with you every time.
All right, Mike, you can have more FaceTime from now on. We're good with you. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot, Mike. And you're all over it, John Lynch. And so their turnover numbers stay secure. And we erase the turnover for today. There has been no turnover today. 3rd down and 5, and they'll work things out. We're continuing our conversation about Todd Haley, worked under Bill Parcells, and Haley's got that reputation for being a Parcells type, in-your-face, yell and scream type guy at times. And he was on that staff up there, started off as a scout with the Jets, then worked his way up from quality control alongside Ken Wisenhunt. He's been taught the game by some of the best. 3rd and 5, play action. The crosser, Bo wide open. He's going to the end zone.
Ronnie, let me tell you, they start to get that combination, which they have. Not they start to. They keep this combination going with the way they run the football. This could be a team to be reckoned with. Everyone knows, yes, old school football still works. You got to run the football. To win championships these days, you have to be able to throw the football. The Chiefs are starting to be able to do that at a high level. And this looks real pretty moving forward for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Bo, 6 catches, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You saw it against the Oakland Raiders 2 weeks ago. You saw it against the Denver Broncos, maybe even more so in that loss, because they were still throwing the ball up and down the field, and you said, well, maybe there's something here, maybe they're building on it, and obviously they were.
You know what they were doing, Ronnie, not last week versus Denver, not only throwing it, but throwing it against Champ Bailey, one of the best corners in the league, and Matt Castle continuing to show you the footwork that's made him so explosive. Dwayne Bowe pushing the route hard. That's a well-executed route coming across the middle, and his run after the catch. Todd Haley talked about, much like Larry Fitzgerald, when he first got him as a wide receiver, he was 238 pounds. He weighs 212 right now. He runs much better, still strong, still powerful. Dwayne Bowe really playing it better than anybody in the league at wide receiver right now in this league. 10 touchdowns in his last 6 games.
And you know, the obvious mold people will try to put him into is T.O. and Calvin Johnson, the big, strong, physical wide receiver. But when you walk up on him like we did down in practice, you realize just how big he is. He's a physical, strong receiver, and he can snatch the ball like that. And you've got something there.
Last year the problem was drops. He couldn't catch the ball. Now he's figured that out. He's a force to be reckoned with, to be sure.
So Chiefs in control of this one, 31-6. This will be Roberts, who's been pressed in the action with the injury to Early Doucette. And he gets stopped just shy of the 15-yard line. 4:08 here to play.
And Ronnie, you talk about leadership at the head coach position, and you got, in my mind, Ken Wisenhunt. A lot of people, down 31-6. Their team's kind of reeling. This guy's a good football coach. He'll get them out of this. It may take some time, but Todd Haley, on the other hand, you look at what he did this week. They lose 2 games. Their run offense, which has been so strong, starts to decline. Their run defense, the same thing. He goes and plays old school football, puts the pads on him for 3 days. His captains were in agreement with him, and look at the results. They've come out, they've played much crisper, more physical football. It really paid off. Great move by Todd Haley and how he...
Arizona once again. Another high one. We've seen that all day. And Todd Haley, he comes from NFL stock, so to speak. His father, Dick Haley, a former NFL cornerback, worked in player personnel with the Pittsburgh Steelers back in their heyday, 1971 to 70, won a couple rings there. Then he worked for the Jets from 91 to 2002. And he said Dad's philosophy was this: believe in players, not the system. Make the players fit the system, not your system fitting the players.
And that's a Parcells thought as well. Don't be a system guy, is what Bill Parcells used to tell Todd Haley. Talk about the influence that Bill Parcells has had on him. You look at this staff, Ronnie.
Yep.
I mean, it is Parcells all the way back to the New York Jets in 1998 when Todd Haley was there. You look at the staff Bill Murray's talking to right there. Just take a look at this 1998 roster, and all over you got Todd Haley, Charlie Weiss, Otis Smith, Anthony Pleasant were players. Bill Muir, Romeo Crennel. Scott Pioli was a front office on that staff. New York Jets West here in Kansas City.
The throw and the catch, that's Patrick. Patrick down at about the 37-yard line. And not a guy that believes a lot in stats. He said sometimes they're okay, but go back to those great Pittsburgh Steelers teams. They said it wasn't about that. They would get in the draft and select the athletes. They wanted football players before anything else. Check down throw. That's Roberts.
And Todd Haley talking about, he brought Romeo Crennel and Charlie Weiss in, but he talked about Romeo Crennel, how comforting that was to have Romeo on the sidelines. He has so much respect, a 5-time Super Bowl champion, to be able to add that to this staff. He said, we laid the foundation last year, but now with Romeo, we're taking it to the next level.
2nd and 5. Once again, one too high. Fitzgerald wide open. But can't get up that high. We take a look ahead here at the remaining games for the Kansas City Chiefs. Big one now next week. Seattle sitting up there feeling real good about themselves. Talk about noise. They're going to go from a loud place to a loud place.
Yeah, and they're going to be on the other side of a loud place. Seattle can get very noisy. Seattle's starting to be resurgent. And then the 2 biggies right there. You've got the 2 division games against San Diego and Denver that will face off on Monday night, and a big AFC West matchup.
3rd and 5 brought down nicely by Roberts.
Tackled by Derek Johnson.
Not to be lost in this, one of the things Todd Haley talked about last week in the blowout was that Matt Castle wanted to stay in the game and continue to fight. And what that says to his teammates, you're seeing Derek Anderson, not real pretty, but he's staying out there and he's fighting, he's competing.
Another completion, and that's the 2-minute warning, just shy of the first down. 31-6, Chiefs in control. 31-6, we're under the 2-minute warning here in Kansas City. A big day for Dwayne Bowe. 2 touchdowns. He's gone up, gotten it, and run with it. Thomas Jones chiming in as well with 2 touchdowns. This is a 2nd down and 1.
Good job, good job.
In the hole, a good catch by Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald takes it down to the 15. Fitzgerald on the day. 4 catches for 72 yards. End zone drop. That would have been a touchdown right through the hands of the rookie Andre Roberts.
You know, in the last 2 plays, Ron, are an illustration. If you ask what does Derek Anderson do well, he can drive the football. This is a big, strong guy with a big, strong arm. And sometimes it's just the accuracy that goes a little haywire. But the previous throw to Fitzgerald, he drove that a dig 30 yards down the field, an in-breaking route. That one had great zip. It's just the ball's been high today.
42 pass attempts for Anderson today. Pressure, sack. Something the Chiefs hadn't done all day long. They finally bring the heat. Javier Arenas with his first sack of the season.
You see the blitz, and again, sometimes you just got to throw that football away. Derek Anderson trying to get out of there, but they've got him from every angle, and Romeo Crennel draws up the blitz, and the rookie Javier Arenas comes through with the sack.
3rd and 22. Nearly intercepted, but caught by Hightower. Hightower is still going. And Hightower brought down around the 20-yard line, but it looked as though that ball was going to be intercepted.
It's Derek Johnson, the linebacker, the fine linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs, who had it in his hands. And seen opportunities the last 2 games that went through his hands.
Timeout called by Arizona, and the Chiefs at home this year. If this holds up, will be undefeated. They'll be 5-0 for the first time since 2003, back when they finished 8-0 and won the West.
Ron, you remember the days with Marty Schottenheimer here. I mean, it was a regular occurrence where they went 8-0 at home. This was the toughest place in the league to come and play. They could never quite get it done in the playoffs, but you did not want to be here with Derek Thomas and Neil Smith coming off the corner in this Arrowhead noise. And to reestablish this home field advantage that is so present at Arrowhead is absolutely key for Todd Haley and the Kansas City Chiefs.
And the good news for Arizona going home, they'll have 3 home games. They'll see San Francisco, St. Louis, and then Denver. So if you're talking about a chance to get healthy with some home cooking like we talked at the top of the game, well, there's their shot. This is a 4th and 15. The Cardinals' last shot. Throw caught, and it's complete to Fitzgerald. First down. He's going to have to. He's got 1 timeout left.
Let's see what makes Larry Fitzgerald one of the great receivers in the league. Watch this extension going up, concentrating on the football. 4th and 15. You watch him press the route to the proper distance, come in front of Derek Johnson. Know he's going to take a hit. Concentrate, though, bring the ball in. This guy has been and will continue to be one of the great receivers. And you talk to Derek Anderson, what's his greatest asset? His passion to be the best. And that speaks volumes.
He told us last night, as long as I wear this C on my chest, I'm going out there and playing every down as hard as I can play. Whether we're up by 30, down by 30, whatever the case may be, and he's shown it. 1st and goal, no timeouts left for Arizona. Fake the draw, looking for the wide receiver screen to Fitzgerald. It's not there. A marker is down.
We're going to get Glenn Dorsey for roughing the passer there.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 72 defense, hit the quarterback low, half the distance of the goal, first down.
And Derek Anderson says, thanks, Walt, hands him back the flag. Remember the huge emphasis that the league has put in recent years. It's really what you call the Carson Palmer rule after Carson Palmer got hit in Pittsburgh. And I appreciate you trying to protect him, Walt, but that seemed mid-thigh for me. That's generally for lower than the knees. That's a tough one. I can empathize with these defensive linemen. They're doing their best to try to get to the quarterback, and they're giving them an awful small strike zone to try to finish the deal.
7 seconds left. Pump fake, high, incomplete, intended for Breaston. Boy, John, consistent theme all through the day for Anderson. High balls. Everything is thrown high.
And it's not as if that's something he wasn't aware of. He told us one of the things that Ken Wisenhunt and quarterback coach Chris Miller have been working on are making his misses left and right as opposed to up and down, because up and down is where bad things happen. You get receivers hurt, you get interceptions.
Anderson throwing back, caught, touchdown Cardinals. Larry Fitzgerald with the score. No time is left. Technically the game is over, but you have to kick the extra point by rule in the regular season.
And Ronnie, you got fantasy players all over America jumping up and down because Larry Fitzgerald just got them a touchdown.
I can think of some other people that may not be jumping up and down as a result of that touchdown. And that's how it will end here in Kansas City, 31-13. The Chiefs go to 5-0 at home. We'll be back here in Kansas City to wrap things up in a moment.